So we're going to do a little bit of programming. And this is going to be me thinking most of this stuff. Usually you're supposed to write this programming down, but I'm not going to bother. I'm going to do it on the fly, as they say. So what I have right now is I have a switch. Let me just see if I can see it. You can see here, there's a switch here, 2 motors, and a light output. So what I'm going to try, off the top of my head, I just read the instructions a little bit and I remember some stuff. So this thing doesn't, if you remember any kind of coding in BASIC, there's line numbers and that puts them in sequential order. So it goes from line 1 to line 2, line 3, line 4. This thing does not have line numbers. What this thing does is it remembers the lines that you entered as you enter them. So you enter a command and then you go to the next command and then you go to the next command. It remembers those. So you have to keep those straight in your head or you write them down. So this is going to be the program. Line 1 is going to be turn. Line 2 is going to be go straight. Line 3 is going to be jump on switch. So if the switch is not pressed, it'll go down to line 4, which is jump to 2. If JSW, if the jump on switch is pressed, it's going to go to line 1. So basically it should go straight then. I would turn first and it's going to go straight until I'm going to get that. Let's start this over. Canadian Public National Research. Whatever. So the idea is that it's going to go straight until it hits something. And then it's going to go back up and turn. So I'm going to have to do the back up first as well. So back up, turn, and then go straight as line 3. JSW is line 4. And jump is line 5. So let's see if I can remember how to do this. So I'm going to go back up for 2. And then I'm going to turn right for, we'll say 7. And then they're going to be JSW. Oh no, you got to go straight. Go straight for, we'll say 5. And then the JSW, go to 1. And then jump 2, 3, back up, turn, 3. So let's see if this program works. Just gonna go backwards, turn, go forwards. Now the one thing of note is that it doesn't pull the switch all the time. It only pulls the switch when it hits that line 4, right? JSW, jump on switch. So so it's still trying to hit my hand until that 5 seconds is up for going forward. So it'll just keep on going and it'll stop. And go again. So it'll keep on going straight until it hits something. And it'll back up. So it really is a little more rudimentary, obviously, than the RCX, because the RCX, you could have multi-threaded programs at the same time. You could have it pulling the sensors all the time and then interrupt the program as it's running. This one, line 1 is to back up. Line 2 is to turn. Line 3 is to go forward. Line 4 is to jump on switch press back to line 1 where it backs up, turns, and goes forward. Line 4, line 5, the switch is not pressed, which is the last bit of it, is to go forward. The switch isn't pressed, and then jump back to going forward. So it'll always go forward. It's basically a little loop until the switch is pressed. As soon as the switch is pressed, it jumps right back to the beginning of the program, which is back up and turn. The only time it pulls the switch is when it gets to line 4. So line 3 is to go forward for 5 seconds. Line 4 is to pull the switch to see if it's been pressed, and if it's not been pressed, line 5 is to go back to line 3, go forward for 5 seconds. Nothing can happen, nothing else can happen during those 5 seconds except go forward. So when you actually turn it on and you hit run, you hit go. Live on TV. So you can see the lights on, but it's not doing any programming until it gets off the going forward. So I'm gonna have to fix that. But it's rudimentary programming. You can write it out. Basically, it's if you remember anything about flowcharts, programming flowcharts, that square has to be finished before it goes to the next one. Unlike the RCX, where you can have multiple concurrently running threads at the same time. But who cares? It's all there, right? And this is at least 30 years old. At least 30 years old, because it's 2022, so it's 35 years old now. I found out the one that is, let's see if I can get this thing apart while we're talking about this. This one's pretty damaged. Oops. And it doesn't work hardly at all. I just have to get it opened. And I can show you the insides, which, you know, for anybody who likes old circuits and stuff, I don't want to break it. There we go. So this is the top, the button pressing, and of course they're all held together by a so there's all the chips that do all the coding, remember your codes, and running the power back to the plugs. And there, of course, there's a speaker, and it's just, there's a heat sink, I think, just because it has to be 5 volts, and you might have more than 5 volts going into it. I used to know what most of these chips stood for, but they're processors. They're you know, so this, if you look at an RCX and you look at this is a very much older version of the RCX circuit board. And there's another circuit board on top of here that does all the button presses and the power outs to the plugs, and of course all the LEDs. So quote unquote, there isn't much to it, but back in the day, this is substantive. This is like, there's no SMDs here at all. This is all, and look how beautiful that circuit is. I mean, this guy put so much effort into designing this thing to fit inside this thing. And I remember you could get these boxes in basic electronic stores, but he found boxes that were identically sized to Lego. It is 8 studs by, I think, 12 studs. It fits perfectly. Like way more than should be allowed. So and of course in the bottom here, I'm gonna hide his address, I don't think you've seen it, but in the bottom here there's a sticker that says Procom, which is I guess the company back then, made in England, UK. It actually has a telephone number and a fax, but I didn't bother calling. But it does have an address on it, and I really admire the person who designed this. Again, I wish him well. I am much indebted to him, because the RCX, again, mind blown when I bought the RCX. I can't bore you with the story. I walked into the store to check out the Lego section, and I had no idea. I wasn't Googling on the internet Lego stuff, but I had no idea that the RCX even existed until I walked into the store and I saw it, and I bought it immediately. Even though I had no idea what it could do and what it was for. I knew that it was going to make robots, and that's why I bought it, which brought me all the way back to this stuff over here. So I do respect the effort that it took to build this from scratch, possibly by himself, designed, tested, vetted, because I think that's just a personal address that's in here. I'm sure that after he got the first couple of prototypes working, he might have shipped it out to get done. I'm not sure, because I have 4, and I'm sure there's lots more than 4 that were made. But in the end, brilliant, just absolutely brilliant, and absolutely wonderful to see working. And so that was my quick video for today. I'm gonna have to stitch it because of the phone ringing. But again, as I keep on saying, everybody stay safe, take care, and I'll talk to you soon.